Okay, we are on. She jumped the gun again. Happy Friday, everyone. It is Black Friday. Hope everybody ate a lot of turkey and mashed potatoes and gravy and stuff yesterday. We are going to do a little demo. And obviously you guys have been requesting heavily to see my father. And so, you know, I aim to please. He's here. So...
yeah, they drug me back in. I was all set to retire, and they drug me back in.
Just when you thought you're out, they pull you back in. Yeah. Anyway, so Dad's going to do a little thing, but before we do that, I told you guys I'd let you know how it worked out when I did that pour deal on this on the Christmas sign and the two-part epoxy. So let this be a lesson to you. The paper just didn't quite protect my pad. It's still, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just kind of, I don't really like that stuff on there. So I turned it over, and it doesn't work quite as well. I think I like it better with the textured side down. I think it grips a little bit better. And I've got more of it. But
well, you can always put a little piece of two-sided tape on.
Could do that. But anyway, it grips a little bit better with this texture down, but it still works really good. So anyway, I told you guys I'd let you know what was up with that. So when you're pouring that two-part epoxy, put definitely more than one thin piece of paper layer down if you don't want that stuff to soak through the paper, because it definitely did.
Or some other sacrifice. It could be 1/8-inch plywood, or just some sacrifice, something you know you're going to throw away.
Yeah.
But it won't soak through it.
Okay, all right. So we're going to make this real quick. We're going to try and keep this within 15 minutes. And Vicky is keeping track, although she just forgot and had to go hit the clock over there.
Okay,
so,
my part of it, I want to let you know, over the past few years, since I started making the acrylic base, I've got requests. Now, I make the acrylic base, I designed all of those just for the palm router, because the palm router doesn't come with handles. And when you're carving any of the palm routers, when you're carving, like you're doing graphics or something really kind of tricky, with the palm router, I designed this because it has handles, and the palm router doesn't come with handles. Well, I've had a few inquiries and a few questions wanting to know if I made a base for the bigger routers. And I've always answered it, quite frankly. I said no, because the bigger routers, like the DW618, that comes with handles. So since it's got handles on it, you don't need a base with handles. Then I had some guy call and say, well, he's got the DW618, but he doesn't quite have the control because the handles are up off of the base. The handles are on the side of the router. So this is the base for the DeWalt 618, and normally it has the handles that come up like this. And he was right when he told me that the handles, when you hold the handles, they're up above the material, so you don't have the control that you've got if you're using a base where you have your palms of your hands, so that you've got control, like we've taught with the bases on the small palm routers. So my super son and I got together and did a little brainstorming, and he convinced me in his usual way that
in other words,
do it.
Nagged him to death.
Yeah,
Yes.
he just got tired of me bitching at him.
Anyway, he convinced me that he said if I would make one, then he would try it. And see if it gets better control, or see if it's something that we think that we could show to somebody else and they could get better use out of it. So I went into did a design on it. Now it's basically the same design as the smaller bases, but it's 10 by 7.
Right.
So it's 10 inches wide and 7 inches high, which gives it really a lot more area than just a standard base.
And
My son,
These are 7.5 by what? 5.
7.5 by 5 on the smaller ones.
Yeah.
And these are 7 by 10s, which gives you a lot. If you're doing a big background cleanup, that gives you a lot better. So anyway, to make a long story short, which is too damn late for that, we now have the bases for the DeWalt 618, which is a big DeWalt router. Now, if you have a big Rigid, or if you have a big Makita, or whatever they are.
Bosch. Somebody asked about Bosch the other day.
Yeah, I don't have one, and I need to have the plate off of it in order to design one. And I'm not going to go down and spend hundreds of dollars for different routers just so I can design a plate for it. So if you want me to make one for your router, if you have something other than the DeWalt 618, I need that little base plate off of the bottom. You need to send that to me. And I can't just have the measurements. I need to take the measurements myself. And I need the base with the screws so that I can design it so it'll fit your router. But in the meantime, if you have the DeWalt 618, we now have the base for it.
And it's up
They're
on the
$10 more than the small base,
Yeah.
but there's twice as much material in them. So,
Yeah, even though there's twice as much material as in this, we're only charging $35 on the.
yeah,
on
they're
that one.
35. They're
Yeah.
$10 more than
Yeah.
the small bases. And that just gives us. I don't make much on them. I just get enough for the design work and to get them done and get them out of here. So and these handles the handles that come on these routers, they have a little square nut that fits up in a cavity, and all you got to do is take a screwdriver and you can just take those handles right off.
Those are actually those are off of my old Black & Decker. Those aren't the ones that came on the DWP.
But
Or
the ones that do come on
Yeah.
it, they just come off real easy.
Yeah.
So if you want this router base on your DeWalt 618, we have that. If you want it for some other one, then you have to send me the base, the round base with the screws, so that I know how to make it so that it fits your router. That's all there is to it. That's about what I have.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do a little demo. And the reason I wouldn't need to do a demo on this, but you guys have seen me use the little palm router so much, but remember that up until 5 years ago, probably about 5 years ago, I wasn't using palm routers because I hadn't thought of the idea. I was using big routers, the big Porter Cable 690LR, great router.
Right, yeah.
I was using this one, and I wasn't using the palm routers. I just got the idea one time when I was walking around in Lowe's. I saw the little DeWalt, and I thought, well, maybe I can make that work. And then with Dad's help, we modified it and we made it work.
Yeah,
But that
he was
doesn't-
using it at first. He was using it with no handles.
Yeah.
And he said it'd be nice to have handles. So I got into the shop and I made a video on how to put handles on the side of the housing. And it worked all right, but it just wasn't a good solution. So I went into the computer and the laser, and I designed the acrylic base that we sell for all the palm routers, and that's how that came about. But it just made it that much easier to carve with.
Yeah, and the point that I want to make is that you don't necessarily have to have a little palm router in order to do fine detailed stuff. These big routers will do them just fine.
I've used them for 40, 50
Yeah.
years. The big Black & Deckers and the big Porter Cables. That's what
Yeah.
I did for 40 years until we discovered these little palm routers. But the big routers work just as well. They're a little heavier. They're not quite as comfortable sometimes. But with this new base, they're pretty good.
Yeah, and so I again, like Dad said, this new base, the thing that it will do for you is it will cover a bigger span if you've got a lot of cleanup to do in between. Like if you're doing a big commercial sign, you've got a lot of background to take out. This covers a much bigger span, which is kind of nice. But anyway, and then the other thing is I got a new set of cheaters And I really like this. There's a link, you know, on our source video 241. You know, we're doing that now, where we've got links to everything that we use. And there's a link to this. Got it on Amazon.
Yeah, we don't sell it ourselves, but we give you a link to go on Amazon where you.
So this is the Carson Pro, and it comes with 4 different lenses.
Yeah.
That
there
way?
you go.
Oh, a lot of glare, huh? So it's a Carson Pro. I really like it. It's got a cool little light. I'm going to use a light here in a second. And it's got 4 different lenses that come with it. So I just, you know, that's the box with the 4 different lenses. So it's actually, I get a lot of questions. What do you use them for your magnifiers? So these are the ones that I'm using currently. I like them. I like them a little bit better than the last ones. They're a little bit lighter. They're not quite as complex. They're a little bit lighter. But anyway, let's get to carving a little bit. I'm getting the rush from my director here.
I'm timing.
So see how that little light lights up? It's cool. Oh, did
Yeah.
that shine in your eyes there?
Stop
Sorry
it.
about that, Miss Director. All right, so let's. I've got the profile bit in here, although it's a fat version of the profile bit because I've ground it probably a dozen times. But I'm going to do this little 1-inch outset S. I might have it set at the wrong depth. We'll find out here. I don't know how deep. Jack, can you hand me the router depth gauge? I think it's in that top drawer there. Should be, yeah. That's about where I keep it. So let's see what depth I'm at. I'm at basically 1/8 of an inch.
1/8 of an inch.
But so for me, that wouldn't be wide enough. I'd want to cut. I'd want to definitely, if I had all 1-inch letters, these are 1 inch, these are 1.5 inches, these are 2. I would definitely go around that thing again a little bit deeper to give me a wider line.
Well, how deep is that?
I don't know.
It's something over 1/8 of an inch.
Oh, it's more than 1/8. Yeah, that's probably 3/16. Yeah,
Yeah.
a little over 3/16.
Yeah, it's about 190.
Probably 190, 192, something like that. So, which is plenty good. Now, this might be a little bit too wide even for that 1.5 inches. But let's find out. Huh? Yeah, if I had a regular profile bit, it would only be maybe 2/3 that wide. This is cutting, and you know, and this is another good point, babe. I want to see if you can zoom in on this this profile bit. You guys will see, if you know what our normal profile bit. This thing is really fat. This actually could be used for 1-inch inset letters, a lot like the 60-degree V-groove. It's what I
That's
normally
just
use.
because we've sharpened it so many times that the 15-degree included angle on the side and the 45 on the bottom is gone.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's almost like it's straight down, probably around a 30 degree, something like that.
So normally I would save these bits after they've been ground a long time. So if you guys send your bits, just because they don't have the exact shape that they did when they were a perfect profile bit, they're plenty good, especially if I was carving a big sign and had big outset letters, or even it could be used again for small inset letters.
Right.
So as long as it keeps cutting, you can save it for certain jobs that it works better with. I'd rather cut big outset letters with this than a profile bit that's brand new, because it just cuts a wider line, and it
as long as it's got a sharp edge on it, it's good. It's really a good bit.
I should have.
That's the thing about using. That's the thing about regrinding on carbide. It'll last for years. We can sharpen it maybe.
As long as there's flute there,
Yeah,
we
as long
can
as there's
sharpen it.
fluid, we can sharpen it 10 or 15 or 20 times.
Yeah. So I should have, when I was carving this, you guys might have noticed it was dark. At least it was kind of dark on my side, even with that little light. I should have had my little octopus light on there, but I didn't. But I still was able to kind of see what I was
No,
doing. So.
we're really demonstrating the big base anyway.
Yeah.
That's really what we're
That's
doing.
really what it was all about, is this big base. But again, even though it's big and it looks kind of bulky, I still prefer the 611 for doing small stuff. But it doesn't mean you can't do it with these big ones, because it absolutely will do it.
One thing to keep in mind is these bases are made of acrylic. This is a heavier router. And if you somehow set it at the edge of your bench and it falls off and it hits the floor, it's going to break.
Oh, no doubt.
So just be aware that acrylic is not like Lexan. Acrylic does break.
Yeah.
We can't cut them out of Lexan because a laser won't cut Lexan, it just gobs up.
Yeah.
So you have to use, I use an expensive acrylic. It's extruded acrylic. It's cast acrylic, not extruded acrylic. So, but it is fragile.
But,
so just be careful with them.
They'll break on the little one. All right, you guys, that is it. We don't want to take up a whole lot of time. You guys probably are not seeing this till next week. Everybody's out doing the Black Friday shopping. Not me, but I'm sure somebody is. But anyway, guys, have a great weekend. I hope this was helpful. Questions, let me know. Again, sources.
And again, it is on the website.
Yes, it is on the website already. If you guys have other bases, like Dad said, let us know. Email us. Get a hold of us.
You have questions about it, just give me a call or send an email with your questions. Yeah. But if you want me to make one for a router that I don't have the base for, I'll need you to send me the base.
Yep. All right. That's it, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
Bye.
Bye.